Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Pekin Freeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello and welcome to the Radical Racing Challenge live on Apex Racing TV. We are bringing you this week 3 action from Interlagos for this round of the championship. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick and alongside me is Peter Mackay, Mark Tranter operating the cameras. And Peter, we've seen a couple of fantastic rounds of this championship so far. This field is so close. It's a fixed setup series. The drivers know this car so well, and so they are on the absolute limit constantly. And this Interlagos circuit, I think, will maintain once again lots of slipstreaming, I'm sure, and maybe even a photo finish in store.
Well, let's hope so, and Happy New Year to you, Sam, and to all of our viewers tonight here on Apex Racing TV 2021. Here we go, and well, like you say, we're just getting into the meat of the season here in the Radical Challenge, and we've seen some incredible speed from the drivers at the top so far. And like you say, this car and this track, it's a wonderful combination. The car is so darty and maneuverable as well, and the drivers who understand the car, who know the car best, are really going to shine today. And like you say, a little bit of slipstreaming going up the hill towards the start and finish line, so I'm sure we're going to be in for a thriller.
Yeah, anyone who didn't catch the Spa round last time out, we saw an incredible finish at the end, side by side into the last chicane, and that was when the race was decided. I wouldn't be surprised if we see really any breakaways, because just seeing a couple of messages from the drivers that the toe kicks in for this car at about 1.6 seconds. So last time out we had a 1.2 second lead, but unless you're getting out of that 1.5 seconds, you're not really going to be able to pull away unless you've got quite a pace advantage. So expect them to stay very close. The first few qualifying times are coming in, and it is currently Lopez at the top of the stand. Apologies, now Kike Ming actually goes to the top of the standings. Ming, a solid driver, been up in the top 6 in a couple of rounds so far, but that is a very strong qualifying for him. The 5.6k driver, you can see the strength of field there. 6 splits for this championship. It's fantastic to see the Radical community really getting behind this strength of field race. And of course, the big points being dished out here. Unless you, if you finish in the top 5 in this race, I don't think you'll be able to really score any higher points for the rest of the week. So it really is important, this event, for the official series, as we see the final few laps come in. 22 drivers out on circuit for today's meeting as we run on board with Lopez. He's got 1.2 seconds to catch. It's a nice third sector for him, a personal best sector 1 and 2 as well. I would be surprised if this doesn't put him on provisional part. The big question is, can Nick respond to this improvement?
Well, we shall wait and see. Let's get Lopez over the line as he winds up this 2.6 litre V8, 380 horsepower. It's actually not one but two Suzuki Hayabusa motorbike engines glued together, and Lopez does a 128.285, hits pole position by 0.129 seconds. Ming sets another time, goes quicker but not quick enough to take pole. Now, I must say, while I get the chance, Sam, I'm a big fan of Ming's livery. That is the same livery that Tom Christensen ran in when he won his first Le Mans back in the mid-90s.
Very nice. Yeah, some really good liveries out there on track. Yeah, a few team liveries and a few iconic liveries as well. Paul Crabb in 12th place. He's always bound for these races, is Paul. And gets in quite comfortably car number 12. He was in 12th place. Moves up to 5th place. Nice lap there from Crabb. B License Australia, that doesn't really represent too much. The 5k much better indicator of his speed. Also exciting to see Quintin Vialate out there on circuit. He's the car number 1, as you can see on the timing tower, and that indicates he's got the highest iRating of anyone, 7.6 thousand iRating, which is lofty for us too, Peter, because I mean, I've maybe been as high as 4.5, I think, but 7.6 is another one. I'd say that's pretty much an alien standard. I think he deserves that reputation. I think 7k is pretty much the cut-off for that. So Vialate, despite him not being around for the first couple of rounds, he's going to be very dangerous out there.
Indeed, yeah. To give an impression, that is the same sort of level you'd expect guys with a World Championship license to have. The World Championship licenses are, you have to qualify for them, and you have to qualify for a World Championship level series like the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup. So yes, it gives you an idea just how high the standard is. And even, for example, 21st seeds, nearly 4,000 iRating. That is just extraordinary, and it just shows it's not just a speed thing as well, isn't it, Sam? It's experience, because you have to do a lot of racing to get to that level. It's not just being really fast, because sometimes you see some very, very fast real-world drivers who are very new to the service, and they've got quite a low iRating because, of course, they just haven't done the same amount of miles.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, must have been around for many years. So it's very impressive. Here comes Halliburton. He's been around for a little bit himself as well. And the Jamaican is approaching the line, car number 3. He has fought for the race win so far. This could be pole position. Halliburton approaches the line, and it is pole by 5 thousandths of a second. That is going to probably be the closest qualifying we've seen all season. That is a whisker between the two of them, and that should be the front row at least sorted out for the drivers. So a couple of drivers out on circuit. We've got Paul Crabb, although he's done. Actually, Scott Michaels is done as well. So in fact, everyone has put in their lap times now. We'll just let the final 15 seconds tick down. From what I've seen so far this season, Peter, I think Halliburton's possibly had the pace on them all. At Silverstone, he was stuck in 4th position, wasn't he? And then Spa, he nearly made a break for it, probably led more laps than anyone else. I think he's potentially been the fastest. He's just been a little bit unlucky so far and hasn't quite got that first race win of the season yet.
Yeah, maybe today could be the day. This is where racecraft is really, really important. And here's our grid.
Yeah, it is Kane Halliburton on pole position. Pablo Lopez in 2nd place. Then it's Kike Ming, Samuel Michaels. Good to see him on the grid for the first time. So too Quintin Vialate in 5th. Then it is Paul Crabb, Joachim Bengtsson, Peter Verlind, Dan Webster, Andres Friedrich, Lucas Vieira, and Ruben Rodriguez in 12th. Behind that, it's Cedric Krolich, Ant Castles, Jean-Philippe Genjon, John McCutchinson, Nicola Serini, Aitor Kagid, Robert Woodward, Yangzi Lin, and Scott Michaels, only out the top 21 drivers. That is all the drivers out there as we wait for the couple of final drivers to get onto the grid. Is this first few corners a big worry, do you think, Peter, for the drivers being able to get through it unscathed, or is it particularly dangerous through that CNRS?
Yes, it is. It always is a problem on cold tyres. Of course, these drivers are so well attuned to this particular car and its little foibles. They love it for the good and the bad. And yes, the Senna S is always a hotspot for action. Now, if you're wondering why the revs are going bananas, that is the drivers, I presume, Sam, that's the drivers trying to burn off fuel because this is a fixed setup race.
That, or they just like the sound and the big...
Does sound good.
Big pedal. Yeah, I think you might be right. That is a tactical. You got to make sure you don't blow up the engine, however.
Yes.
As all the drivers are onto the grid. Lopez not burning any fuel. He was on the grid last of all. But here comes the 5 red lights. And the green flag is out for 17 laps of Interlagos. It's a good start for Lopez, but he's not going to be able to challenge Halliburton down into turn 1. In fact, it's Michaels with a strong start from 4th position. He's going the long way round and might just get the inside for the second part of the CNRS. Wide goes Lopez, and Halliburton is really making a great lead straight away. The gap already up to 8 seconds. No changes in the top 6, but Friedrich with a good start up 2 places, and Rodriguez, really nice start for him. He's up 3 places into 9th place. A little bit of side-by-side with Crab just having to defend at the moment from Berlin. They're all a little bit slow going into turn 4. Through the CNRS, they were very well behaved. Meanwhile, further up, Ming getting back ahead of Michelson and Vialat as well. Moves through as Ming goes spinning around. That looked like a netcode to me, Peter. I just looked away, but what was your assessment?
I think cold tyre, and it turned round on him. We can maybe try and get a replay of it. We will try. That looked like a cold tyre just sliding out there, just asking that little bit too much, and round Ming went. So we'll need to watch though for that number 5 car coming back through the field, because he didn't take any damage. So he's still got a fast race car there. We can maybe see if he'll make his way up through and score some good points. So let's get another look at it then. Kiki Ming, in the number 5 machine, the Tom Christensen. I think it's on his own, to be honest, Sam. I mean, do you think?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure on that one for Ming. Losing the car and well down the order. Halliburton up to 1.8 seconds. That is the draft potentially gone. They really didn't gain anything through turn 13 and until the end of the lap. So Lopez may have lost this race already, and Vialat wants to get past now. They've got to work together, because they've got to start outlapping Halliburton, which is not an easy thing to do. Especially considering that he seems to be in very good form at the moment. So who goes Vialat? Lopez down to 3rd place, Michaels in 4th, Crab up into 5th position then, apologies, Crab in 6th. I think Berlin not too far ahead of him in 5th, so Berlin's actually gaining 3 places. He's had a very good second half to that first half of this second lap. It's quite a queue straight behind, a little bit of an instant back there.
Sorry, that is just Lopez just giving a little love tap to the back of Quinton Vialate's number 1 car, the dark black car. Very interesting indeed there. Of course, that can happen here in Interlagos. It always bottlenecks so much. Such a tight and twisty circuit. But also, the back of Michael's Radical SR8, he's got some damage on the rear of the car as well. How much of a difference that will make, we don't know. But what about Halliburton in the number 3 machine? He is just gone. And really, for Vialate and Lopez, they've got no choice now. They have to work together if they want to win the race. If they start taking lumps out of each other, they're going to have no hope. And look at the times, 128.6 for Halliburton, the first flying lap, and 129.4 and 129.5 for Vialate and Lopez. That is huge gap to this early on.
Yeah, only man 28 at the moment is Halliburton. He's half a second faster than everyone else out on the circuit, and he's well through from that chart. It would take truly a mistake for Halliburton to lose it from here, because really no one looks like they are faster than him. But they've got a slight off there, according to our timing screen, but that would just be track extending, I imagine, through turn 4, gets away without too many issues. But Hutchinson, that's in with Michaels, so Michaels has dropped down the order. I wonder if he's got a bit of damage on that car because he was up in third position. Apologies, that's Scott Michaels. There's two Michaels. Oh, dear me. Apologies for that one. But that is the car number 4. Who is well up the order, I'd say. As we've got Webster on the circuit, he started well. He was up in 9th place for the grid, but he has gone off at an unusual part of the circuit, and all that good work has been done.
Yeah, interesting. There's a lot of cars with a lot of rear damage, strangely. They've just got a little bit of a bump up the back. A few of the cars as well. Vieira, the back of his Martini livery machine. So let's go look what happened to Webster. Sticks it up the inside, and when he asks for the power, the really tight left-hander here. Oh, it's this inevitable. Just gets a little bit greedy on the exit, and woof, round he goes. And I guess, Sam, that's a perfect illustration of just how fickle and how erratic in the temperament these cars can be.
Yeah, I've made that mistake a few times myself. It's so bumpy on that particular part of grass here in Interlagos. In fact, all of the grass is very bumpy around this track, so really easy to lose the car, especially with the low ride heights that these cars run. As Kagid behind Mink's on it. John Paskin to already get back up into 15th place. It's only a lap 4 of the race, so he's how he's managed to do that. Gentron up into 16th, so Kagid just dropping a few places at the moment as Krolich trying to defend now from Ming. Just a bit of content. We did see that rear damage that you were just talking about before, Peter, at Spa last time. It does seem to be very unexplained. Maybe something quite easy to pick up on maybe the curbs, or maybe it's just visual damage, but certainly some more info from the curbs would be fantastic to use for that one, but it does seem to be a current.
Indeed, and of course the cars, the Radical SR8, made out of fiberglass composite bodywork, so it doesn't need much persuasion to change its original form, shall we say. It's pretty fragile. It's and of course that makes it so light, only 650 kilos for the car. But what about Kiki Ming? You're right, he's making a great move through the field after that early spin. And how far can he go? We know he's one of the very fastest in the field, started at the front, near the front of the pack. But this is just what Halliburton wants to see in his mirrors, is Quentin Violate and Lopez just knocking lumps out of each other. And meanwhile, Michael's there at the back, but all this is doing, they're just slowing one another up. Perhaps, Sam, they're thinking, well, Halliburton's gone, we've got no chance, let's just have a punch-up anyway.
Yeah, you think, though, that they'd want to, get clear of Berlind and Crab and Friedrich and literally that half the order. And just pick where's a blue, because obviously the worst case in that scenario is that you finish 4th, which may not be coming to them to a risky in instance. So I'm always surprised when we see these high-rated drivers and they are fighting this early on in the race. But of course it's tricky because you may feel that I'm half a second a lap faster than this guy and I might want to back me up. But when everyone thinks that, then you do get into this pattern of overtaking and re-overtaking. This is now just one group, down from 2nd place all the way to 9th position, and Michaels as well, of course, in 10th place, who started in 21st place to Scott Michaels, who will inevitably catch up to this as well, and of course Ming likely has to catch up as well, so I think this could be a big pack, very similar to what we saw at Spa. Obviously that pack was a little bit lower down than this one, but once again it's midfield ever so close, or this top group. Really, it's the top group, apart from Halifax, he's kind of got a 4.2 second lead.
Indeed, yeah. I just get funny enough what you were saying about the drivers who think, oh, I'm definitely faster than the guy in front. I guess guys on the level of Lopez, Violate and Michaels, they'll all have that absolute 100% belief in their own ability, that they have such pace. And that they can always move forward in any race because they'll be so used to doing that. But I think effectively they've all just met their match here, and that's just allowed Halliburton to get away in clean air. However, when Lopez has been left alone, he's not that any quicker than Halliburton. Actually, quite the opposite.
Yes, no one seems to have a match for him on that last lap. 1 second slower was Lopez. Maybe that was a bit of defense. I can't imagine Lopez as a full second slower, but really from these sector times, yeah, it's half the 10 10th in each of the 5 sectors. So, you know, Halibut is just playing quicker. It looks at the moment. Cap up to 4.4 seconds. This will probably be the biggest winning margin we get all season, potentially up to the closest qualifying margin that we'll get all season. Here comes Ruben Rodriguez up the inside of Friedrich for 7th position. He's right on the limit of adhesion there. Can he get it stopped? Well, they're going to go side by side. Gets the cutback rather than trying to go all the way around the outside. Bengtson not quite getting with these guys at the moment, but Michaels is quickly catching up. He looks really quick, but it's probably been the second fastest driver out on circuit these past few laps. Rodriguez had a look into turn 4, but thought better of it.
He did indeed, yeah. Just noticed Halliburton doing the best lap of the whole race there, but Lopez just a 10th in arrears. So, you know, this race isn't done yet. If Halliburton makes the slightest mistake, Lopez, Violati and Michaels will all be on top. But a bit of an update on Kiki Ming in the number 5 Tom Christensen tribute machine. He's already up to 12th spot, and I think he would have dropped right to the very rear of the pack, and he's just carving his way through, Sam.
How far? He's only 7 seconds off Lopez, which is the car that he was battling with.
Podium.
I mean, let's go for it. Yeah. What race was it recently where I called someone on the page? I don't think they ended up in the podium, but they very nearly meant. Don't underestimate the fast guys. We always podcasted the reverse grid races that we have in various series we broadcast on Apex Racing TV. But it is remarkable how the top guys can just subliminally just go up through the order and gain 10 places in a couple of laps. So that's what Ming might try to do. He is looking very strong today, as Ming hasn't had this level of pace this season. Here is Halliburton. He hasn't lost any time, so don't be too concerned, people. But I think he has just track extended. Needs to be a little bit wary of those 1Xs.
Yes. Needs to be careful if you overstep them too much in certain places. You can get a slowdown penalty, which would cause him an issue. But I think that what that proves, Sam, is that he's still pushing 100%, because you only really do that when you're really pushing to the maximum. If you're driving with a margin, you're not so likely to exceed the track limit. So that shows that Halliburton is still doing his very best. Looking at Paul Crabb in the number 12 car. A lovely Jaguar XJR. Now, is that? I think it's the XJR9 tribute livery on that car. A very nice looking car. And then behind Verlinde, he's got what looks like a massive QR code on his car. You scan and get a discount. Oh dear. That was I don't know if we can call that one commentator's curse, Sam.
I'm not sure. I don't know about it. Calling him a barcode is a compliment. But yeah, there he was. I don't think he took too much curb, but the curb certainly unsettled the car, and taking a big hit. Surely that would be big damage for him. Who was it?
Michaels in the art car. Michaels in the art car, yeah, and he's back in 18th now in the 4 machine.
Ouch. Yeah, he was moving up so well. Here comes Violati, got getting past Lopez. These two have swapped positions a few times already today. I think Violati usually gets ahead through turn 4 at some point, but then Lopez always has a response up to 6.2 seconds now. They have been able to drop those few cars now that there's been a bit of a collision, but Crabb is catching back up, and there's a big gap to Rodriguez as Lopez does consolidate that place. But I mean, if they're having a bit of fun with this battling, then it's all worth it. You know, there's not. I don't think there's any prize money. There might be some prize money on the line for winning the official series, but I think they are quite relaxed, or they really are fighting as hard as they can on this line out to 17. A long way to go there.
Absolutely, but the guys at the front, they're just playing for keeps. Lopez, Violati and Michaels. You just look at the body language of those cars, the way they're just twitching and wriggling around. And we actually saw Kiki Ming, who's now up to 8th place, doing a great job. But he had to swing to move to avoid Verlinde's spinning QR code machine. And you just saw him lay down a massive black 11. Well, it was more like 2 sort of wiggly drunken 11s because it was just huge big oversteer, but managed to avoid just. But these cars, they're so expressive, and there's when you ride on board, you just see how frantic it is on board. The high revving nature, everything's all up on its toes. They're just fantastic to drive and therefore fantastic to watch.
Constantly sliding about these cars are absolutely brilliant to spectate. So that's a long way off the circuit for Genjon. Kagid has managed to move up into 11th place. He looked like he was going backwards back when he was like in 18th, but he's been able to pick up on these mistakes and had a bit of upturn of speed. And Genjon looks like he's going to have the upper hand here, just in deep for that one. And he does just get ahead. I thought so. Yeah, it might be making a bit of contact, but this might be the place that you want to be for a tour. Heading on to turn 30. Just really a turn unless you're racing in the wet. I wonder if we can get the track temperature up actually, because Interlagos, it has the highest track temperature of any place, or potentially it can go up to 52 degrees Celsius around this circuit. These circuits can reach 50. So there it is 84 degrees Fahrenheit. It's actually not too warm. I think that's about just over 30 odd heater. You may have to correct me on that.
Yeah, about that. It's probably about right actually for these tyres. They should be feeling pretty comfortable, I'd imagine, for these drivers. Although the Interlagos circuit is a pretty low grip circuit, you really are kind of slithering around in a lot of places. But that's what makes it what it is. It's got such a charm, this facility. It's been going since 1940 actually, but they've tried to change it as little as they possibly can, and also still maintain a Formula 1 Grand Prix, and it still retains that amazing nature. And usually, in most F1 seasons, it normally produces the most exciting race of the year, usually.
Yeah, it's got a high hit rate, doesn't it? Certainly would be fantastic to have the season finale back at this circuit in the future. But yeah, it was only a few years ago that I realised, of course, this place used to be like double the length. It used to have that crazy middle sector, which must have been spectacular to drive. I don't think this middle sector is necessarily any worse, but yeah, that was really unique because it used to go absolutely full pelt through turn 1 as well, when you used to not have the center S. You used to pretty much have an oval potential circuit, which must have been terrifying to race on. But yeah, so much history, and it's fantastic because this place will be hosting F1 for the next 5 years, which will be very good to see when looking in Doubt Sport Online.
Absolutely, I think that's fantastic news. I don't think there are many countries in the world who would even like to suggest that they're as passionate about motor racing as the Brazilians. And of course, there's the list of Brazilian drivers that have just been absolute all-time greats is just incredible. And the passion of the fans here, it's an overused term, but it's just amazing. I mean, who could forget when poor old Felipe Massa lost out at the last minute in 2008 when Lewis Hamilton won his first title, and you'll never forget him beating his chest and saluting the fans, and they're all going bananas anyway. I mean, that is exactly why we need to keep coming back to places like Interlagos, Silverstone, Spa. Oh, funnily enough, the first 3 tracks of the Radical Racing Challenge.
Yeah, good job from the guys who picked this calendar. Yeah, I think we might visit Suzuka. That one as well is absolute classic. You may have noticed that Vialas has gone up to 2nd place. We're not paying too much attention to that battle for 2nd place, just because it's kind of inevitable that it will still be close. Albeit I did say it would be close for the race lead throughout the race, and we have currently got an 8.7 second advantage for Kane Halliburton. Lopez back ahead of Vialat then for 2nd place. Lopez does look a little bit faster, albeit it's tricky to judge. I think maybe qualifying is slightly clouding my judgment on that one. Of course, these drivers will use the same setup for qualifying and the race. This is a big setup series. This is the Radical Racing Challenge official series, and this is the top split. 6 splits tonight. That's 120 drivers signing up, and these are the best 21 of those drivers. So exceptional field out on track. I'm very happy to bring it to you on Apex Racing TV. Yeah, so same setups for qualifying and the race. So that qualifying pace is a bit more representative than otherwise, but obviously, you can still have that consistency in the race, which you don't necessarily need in qualifying as much. Friedrich really under pressure from McCutchinson. Friedrich up 2 places, McCutchinson up 7, and they're behind Rodriguez, who's up 5, kicking ahead of all of these guys up into 6th place. And Ming now only 4 seconds off Violat. Ming could get 2nd place here, which would be insane if he could. On that last lap he gained by about half a second on the drivers ahead. So I'm not 100% sure if Ming will catch up, but he's certainly giving himself a chance.
Well, I think if you can spin in a race of this standard and of this level and get even into the top 10, you're doing very well. But it looks like Ming's on a one-way demolition course to the top 5 at the very least right now. But let's see what he can do. It's been an amazing drive. We're just looking at Hutchison's car, the number 10 machine. It's a very patriotic Scottish livery there. It's got the lion rampant on the front nose cone there. You can see that there, our other flag that we have here in Scotland. But do you know that actually Radical have another Scottish connection, Sam?
Thank you, Dave.
They do. So back in the mid-2000s, they actually ran an LMP2 program. In fact, in 2007, a Scotsman, Robin Liddell, drove for the Radical factory with sponsorship from Bruichladdich Scotch Whisky.
Oh, okay. It had to be whiskey to be the sponsor, obviously. No, that goes without saying. Violat back up into 2nd place. In fact, he's holding on to that place. That's a very good graphic put up by Mark Transer, highlighting the difference in lap times between Violat and Ming. I think Violat's lost a whole heap of time on this lap because he's been defending for quite a while against Lopez. In fact, Ming on that last lap was 8/10 faster than the race leader. And that's not totally representative because I'm sure Halliburton's not pushing as hard. In fact, Halliburton's properly taking his foot off the gas. 29.0, that's over a second slower than what he was doing earlier on. But he can afford that with the gap that he's got. Lopez lining this one up nicely on Violat. And this is where you want to start getting into position for the final few laps. You want to be kind of 2nd place, maybe 3rd place. Going on to the last couple of laps, you don't want to leave yourself too much work to do. Violat's holding on to that place. It is an odd circuit, this. I don't know if you've raced around here much, Peter, but strangely, it's quite easy to defend around here. It seems totally contradictory because it's quite a wide circuit with long straights. But Violat is kind of showing that if you just put the car on the inside for each of the corners, it's kind of tricky for the opponent to do anything about it.
Yeah, I think that the one thing is there's always options for both the pursuer and the pursuee. I don't know. There's always like you see, there's always multiple lines that you can use, and even in I'll say this, even in Formula 1 you see quite a lot of overtaking in this middle section as well, which is saying something. You see, there you go, boom, straight down the inside there. Robert Wood, oh dear, a little bit of a hip check. Not the best example of a clean manoeuvre, but never mind. But yes, I think it's a wonderful circuit. I really, really like it. It's both to watch and to drive around, and really, really impressive indeed to watch. And I tell you what, Lopez, he is in the number 2 car, really putting a lot of hassle under Violati. Only 2 laps to go now. You just see him now filling the left-hand mirror, then filling the right-hand mirror, and really making himself as much of a nuisance as possible. And it's been a brilliant battle, and it just seems like Michaels, he's just sort of sat there and watched it all unfold, thinking these guys are bound to crash into each other at some point. And I think Lopez has made a move up the inside there. You can go back to have a look, but it looked like he did have a dive, but don't know if he got the move done or not. He did not.
Nearly contact between Michaels and Michaels just going to the outside there. Ming is nearly with these guys. You know what, Ming might just be 1 lap short, although he's now in the tow, so that will help him a bit, but he's going to do well to pass 3 cars in the last lap. He will be very close though, coming out of turn 12. He'll be well in the slipstream of Paul Cram. But it's Violat currently in 2nd place. Halliburton's going to take the white flag in about 20 seconds time, but Lopez putting himself in a good position. Quarter of a second, slightly tighter line there for Lopez. Doesn't really carry a whole lot of speed through turn 12. but it looks all right far. I think we'll have to go back to that battle for second place because Lopez is going to have a very good chance down into the turn one. Doesn't seem to gain a whole lot, to be honest, does Lopez. Down to just, I wonder if he's carrying a little bit of damage from an earlier instant, but he's just about getting ahead. Viola so far has defended brilliantly for the past 8 laps or so, but this time Lopez has the inside. They stay alongside. You can see the 3 of them behind, all battling one another. But it's now Lopez trying to go the long way round through turn 3. Doesn't quite have the toe, and Crab is catching back up to these guys once again. Lopez with his nose ahead going down into turn 4. Goes the long way round. He'll pick up the 1x if he has to. He doesn't have to this time. Again, little bit more speed through turn 5, and he's worked this one brilliantly, has Lopez, to finally get the better line and surely has the upper hand in this battle. Viola might have a chance to track extend slightly to go into the infield section, and moving ahead marginally is Lopez. He has to leave room for Viola, who came diving back down the inside into turn 8. But it is Lopez who gets ahead. Viola's deep into the corner though, and he spins around, and Lopez makes contact. Can Meng or Crab get advantage of this? Surely Meng will get third place because Michaels has got damage and will be terrible down the straight. But it's Halliburton out in the lead, who has absolutely dominated this race. He broke the chart in the first few corners, and he has been dominant ever since. Kane Halliburton takes his first race win of the season. Lopez will get second place, but can Ming, who fell down to the very last place off the start, can he get a podium out split? He can. Ming finishes in third position. Brilliant comeback from him. He'll be feeling as though maybe even the race win was possible, but that is a remarkable recovery. Must have overtaken 20 odd cars to get back up into the podium places, and in such a quick race, that is a very impressive achievement.
Oh, what a drive from Meng there, from Kiki Meng. Absolutely superb. I mean, not quite the Jimmy Vasser spin in the win, but a spin in the podium in this level of field, fantastic. I tell you what, must be... I need to get myself a Tom Christensen throwback livery. That's what you need to go quick at Interlagos. But wow, what a race. And Halliburton, I mean, he just did exactly what he needed to do early on, Sam. He spotted his opportunity and he thought, right, qualifying sectors. And he really did push hard on the cold tyres, and he was rewarded for it.
Yeah, he was cruising at the end as well, was Halliburton. So that gap could have, I think, probably been 14 seconds, but he wins by 9.5, which is remarkable, and finally gets that first race win of the season, and maybe even the championship lead. Pablo Lopez, I believe, will maintain the championship lead, however, because it has been very good for these first 3 rounds. I think that is 3 podiums in the first 3 rounds. Kike Ming, brilliant comeback from Ming. Remember, Kike's done the last couple of rounds, hasn't been that impressive, but today he was right on it. Hopefully he can keep that form up for the rest of the season. Samuel Michaels, despite the dash, finished in 4th place. Paul Crab with a good result in 5th. Then it was Andres Friedrich, Ruben Rodriguez, John McHutchinson, Jean-Philippe Genjon, and Ant Castles rounding out the top 10 finishers. Then it was Quinton Vialat, who had that spin and ended up in 11th place. Aitor Kagid finishes in 12th. Then it was Lucas Vieira, Joachim Bengtsson, Cedric Krolich, Scott Michaels, who was storming through brilliantly. Could he have even got a podium? Who knows? Robert Woodward was in 17th place. Yangtze Lin was in 18th. Then it was Nicolas Serini, Peter Verlind, and Dan Webster. Webster, interestingly, the only driver who was more than 1 lap down, which is impressive in these very vulnerable and delicate cars. We've had this predicament a few times. No one's coming for a chat with us. So obviously, if you're a driver just watching the broadcast right now, there is a link in the description below to our Apex Racing TV Discord server. And if you join that, then you can jump into the interview waiting area where comms channel 1, this is the only broadcast going on at the moment, and you can jump in there and we will jack you up for a chat, because we like having a chat with anyone who, as long as you took part in the race, you are more than welcome to have a talk with us. But Peter, from these first few rounds, I think I said it last time out as well, Halliburton and Lopez seem to have that perfect balance of the racecraft and the absolute raw pace as well. I think that's now 3 races in a row where they're both finished in the top 4, and against such good drivers, that's really impressive.
Yeah, and that's going to be the key to the season. I mean, it's 12 rounds long. It's a long, long way, and you just can't afford to have off days and to have crashes and what have you. And when you saw the action out there, I mean, these guys were just playing for keeps. All 17 laps. Any moment there was a gap, they would go for it, and it was just maybe a slightly misjudged maneuver from Quentin Violati, a little bit of a pity, but on the last lap, you've always going to see that little bit more going on. But yeah, fantastic entertainment. But I mean, obviously Halliburton was the race winner, as the gets the spoils, but Kiki Ming to spin early on, absolutely superb. I tell you what. We would. He doesn't need to sign in for Apex Racing Academy like you and I do.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, next round of the championship, by the way, is going to be Phillip Island for the 4th week of the season.
Great track.
I think that's almost a perfect track for these cars. I mean, I've only really ever seen motorcycle racing around Phillip Island. I'm not too familiar with, of course, like supercars, which also visits there, and I'm sure many other series. But that's a brilliant circuit for these cars. They can properly show their high downforce, particularly over the crest and through the elevation changes. The downforce is going to be absolutely immense. And really going to be producing some high cornering speeds.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, for me, Phillip Island is one of the best circuits in the world, both on four wheels, but as you mentioned, on two wheels, MotoGP is absolutely amazing. But this it's as if you were to, well, bearing in mind the Radical is it's got not one but two motorbike engines, so in the back of it, so that's going to help. But I tell you what, as much as I love driving at Phillip Island, Sam, I am just too slow. How can I go quicker? I think we have an idea.
Yes. I think you were teeing it up before, but I will smash it out of the park this time.
Roger Federer style.
No, Federer's too good for that. I won't let his name be used for that. But yeah, this broadcast is sponsored, or not this specific broadcast, but Apex Racing TV is helped out by Apex Racing Academy. And of course, if you're driving the Radical, probably Apex Racing Academy isn't for you. But if you drive any other car on the service, Apex Racing Academy produce setups for all sorts of cars: GT3s, GT4s, GTEs, prototypes, single seaters, even rallycross cars.
Corvettes?
What was that?
Corvettes?
Yes, lovely.
Oh, I'm off now.
Yeah, um, and yeah, go to Apex Racing Academy for all of that. You got setups, you got driver tutorials as well. You can book one-to-one sessions, and there's also kind of onboard laps as well with commentary from some of the best drivers in the world championship drivers such as Kevin Ellis and also Peter Bayman, the very best in the world of iRacing. So if you're looking to improve your driving, go to Apex Racing Academy for all of that. Also, big thanks to SDK Gaming, who provide our gorgeous overlay. And of course, you can customize it yourself. You'll see in our various Apex Racing TV broadcasts, we do change the overlay quite a bit. You can pretty much make it look however you want it. But SDK gives you the basic functionality, and you can either use the templates, which include the NASCAR template as well. But also, of course, the F1 2017 templates. And then you can also adjust it for all of that stuff. You can use it for broadcasting, streaming, or just a good heads up display. It's got a fuel calculator and everything. It's really useful whenever you're doing any of those strategic races. So certainly do check out SDK Gaming in the future.
Indeed, yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. Now, while we're waiting just the last couple of moments for our hopefully maybe one or two driver interviews, Sam, can you allow me a Tom Christensen story? Given that Kiki Ming gave that livery such great justice today,
Hopefully, Tom Christiansen is listening along because
he might well be.
yeah, I'm sure he's never got this much love in his life. So yeah, certainly go for it.
So in that very car, it reminded me actually when I saw Kike using that livery when he won Le Mans in 1997 in the TWR Porsche. He was called in at the very last moment. He'd never driven the car. He'd never driven at Le Mans before, and got in and got the fastest lap and won the race. But in the when they were getting set up and he was getting sort of fitted in the seat, he's quite tall, of course, is Tom Christensen, and he just said. Said to the mechanic, can I just get the pedal put back a little bit further back? And the mechanic just sort of snorted at him and said in German, forgive me, I can't remember what the German is. He just says, young man, the fastest decides. So he's like, oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'll go back in my box. And then, of course, goes and wins the race, gets the fastest lap. And then they're having a post-race barbecue. And he goes up to the mechanic and he just says, next time, pedal a little bit back. You love it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely brilliant. Hopefully, we'll see that livery out next time out. Has Kike actually been running that livery for the whole season?
I feel that I would have bored on about it that time if he had have done.
Yeah. But no, yeah. Hopefully, we'll see it at the front as well. Perhaps winning races in the future. Unfortunately, we got no interviews. Come on, guys. We've done 3 weeks of this. We're not too mean. We're not Paxman. We'll give you a nice interview if you come and have a chat with us. But I think that will pretty much be it for tonight's broadcast. And of course, we'll see you back for week 4, Phillip Island, the next round of the championship. And of course, on Apex Racing TV, we are broadcasting all 12 weeks of this 2020 Season 1 Radical Racing Challenge. So if you want to watch more of these races, subscribe to Apex Racing TV, and also like this video as well, because then it's more likely to pop up in your recommended for the future weeks. We've also got plenty more action coming up as well, pretty much every day of the week in best time zones, whether you're from Australia, from Europe, or from America. Pretty much got all of that covered. About 15 to 20 broadcasts, and going to be increasing as well in the future on Apex Racing TV, so certainly do subscribe. But for now, from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, from Peter Mackay, and from Mark Chanter, we will say goodbye, and we will see you next week at Phillip Island.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala,
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke,
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong,
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
and many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.